Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Lunch and Debates. I am your co-host Dibo, and my other co-host Matt.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. I gotta say, I enjoyed doing the intro last week, but it sounds better coming out of your mouth. Pause, but
I appreciate the love, brother. Appreciate the
hey,
love.
you got a little nice ring to it. But we do start school. We do start school next week. Are you excited?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
No, because it's school and the long commute, an
Yeah.
hour, like almost an hour commute. Nah, man, I'm not ready for that. But at the same time, though, like I am kind of excited for school because I got a lot of things planned in that perspective. So I'm just trying to get the work in.
Yeah, for sure. I think the worst part about the commute, I think like taking the train there isn't too bad because like you just listen to music. It kind of wakes you up because it is pretty early in the morning. But
Mhm.
the ride back is so tiring. It's like so depleting. Like you get out of the train, and while when you're walking back to your car, when you get back home from your day, like you just feel so tired. Like you just want to like lay in bed.
Bro, I promise you, man. And because like I went to the gym a few times on campus,
Hmm.
so you got to add that. And your legs being tired, your legs, feet being
Yeah, it's a
tired
lot of
after the
walking on that
workout.
campus.
Yeah, and like you got to go back to your car, drive like what usually for me it's
30.
like a 20, yeah,
Yeah.
like a 20 to half an hour a drive back home. So it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah. No, I 100%. 100%. How is the Metro gym? I've obviously never been in it. Is it nice?
It's a decent gym. If I had to choose between going to Metro's gym or the Planet Fitness gym on like nearby my house, I'd rather go to Planet Fitness. But for what it is, being on campus, and hey, I'm fine with it.
Is it packed always?
No, not really.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
So how many classes you got in person this semester?
Um, two in person, two online, so same as last year.
Okay. Okay, that's not bad. I only got one more in I got one more in person and then the same online. But
Hmm.
I hear you're gonna transfer to CU Denver soon. That's rumor on the street?
Nah, see you Denver K, man. Metro's where it's
Oh, come on
at.
now. Come on now.
Metro's way better. Bro, y'all ain't got no sports teams, man.
Y'all ain't got no swag.
Bro, man, y'all stole Boulder swag. Everybody go to Boulder. See Denver's not
Man,
the same
Link's
as
better.
Boulder.
Link's better than Buffalo's.
Nah, man, bro, man. See you Denver don't got Dion in them. They up in Boulder.
Man, we don't
Denver
want
don't got
Dion. You
Dion in
know what?
them,
You know
bro.
what comes with Dion in them? An extra
What?
$10,000 of tuition. Am I wrong?
No, no, you're not. No,
I did hear that tuition went up though. That's what Jared was telling me.
it
Not that
went up.
it
So
did.
so where's it at now?
I don't know. I don't know. Jayed, Jayed got a ton of scholarships. Shout out Jayed because that man is smart. But I don't know what it's at. But he told me like his buddies were saying that it went up.
Okay. Jai's one of the homies back from high school, if y'all didn't
Yeah.
know. So hey, salute to that man. He working hard like us as well. So hey, keep on fighting a good fight, brother.
Oh God, we'll have to send him that. We'll have to send him that.
Yes, sir.
We'll have to send him that.
I don't know. Was it
But
wait about Boulder, right? Like, was that the biggest reason why you didn't want to go there? Like the tuition?
a little bit. Like obviously that's a factor of it, but I don't know. I also felt like I couldn't be me up in Boulder. Like when you go to Boulder, it's a lot about the partying. It's a lot about the fraternities and like kind of just trying to like be outgoing and fit with the school, but it's not like you can like hustle and try to do your own thing and get this hobby where we're like on lunchroom debates once a week and we're posting every day on social media. Like I don't think lunchroom debates could be where it is if we both went to
No,
Boulder.
no. And I agree with you on that same perspective. Like, if I went to Boulder, like there's a ton of distractions up there,
Hmm.
which for anybody going up there right now, like I don't blame y'all at all for going up
No,
there. Like
100%
I,
not.
I
It's a great
understand,
school.
yeah, for sure. But for me personally, like with these 4 years after high school graduation, this is the time to grind. This is the time to get the work in. So
100%.
that's what I'm trying to
100%.
do.
Nah, I agree. I mean,
So
because like I think I told you this after we were recording, but I was hanging out with one girl and she was like you're in college. This is supposed to be the time of your life, and like I kind of like looked at her weird when she said that because yeah, you're supposed to have fun in college and you meet some of like your friends that are gonna be at your wedding and that are gonna be like your best man and stuff like that, but like this is where you're supposed to get it out the mud. This is supposed to be where you're grinding, where you're hustling, so that 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, like you're looking at your life and you go, wow, like kind of like that.
yeah, like I accomplished something. Like I got some stuff like that I'm proud to to
Exactly.
achieve.
Exactly.
And
And like even if not, like we still have like a 4 year head start on them in that sense. Because while they're going and getting a college degree, which we are as well. Um,
mhm,
but like shout out to them because I still believe in getting an education. I think CU is a great school, but I
mhm.
think that us being able to get our college degrees and then still working towards something and still having these big goals and getting up every morning with that purpose is kind of important.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. What was your number two? Metro was obviously your number one. That's where you went. What was your number two? Or was there no number two? Was it just
Um,
Metro straight away?
no, it wasn't. I was thinking about DU as well,
Ooh,
University of
nice.
Denver. I actually took a college visit there. It was a really nice school.
DU is
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's a beautiful
He's got a
school.
really nice campus.
The only problem, I was so close to going to DU. The only problem is like the fucking the tuition, man. It's like
It's expensive. It's expensive.
it's
But you get what you
it's
pay for with
tuition.
DU. I'll say that.
That is true.
You get what you
Like
pay for with DU. I'll say that.
I don't
Um,
know. Yeah.
but did you ever think about going out of state?
Nah, I want to stay in state.
Sam. Sam.
Like the majority of people we graduated with, they're in state, right? Like the vast majority of them.
I'd say so. I'd say so.
Like the minority that went out were like the Lauren Betts of the world.
Yeah.
They're athletes.
Yeah.
They got off like a full ride, so
Hmm.
is what it is.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to think right now. Everybody in the Haters Incorporated group chat is in Colorado still. Everybody in Watson's gonna touchdown there. Great, great group chat name. Is still in Colorado. It's like the majority of people we graduated with stayed in state,
Hmm.
which doesn't surprise you. Doesn't surprise you.
Nah.
But I'm actually interested to see what the percentage was. I wonder if there's a way to find that out. Probably have to talk to Dr. Roberts.
Yeah, you might have to, but that's for another day.
Yeah, facts. Facts.
All
So what
right.
we got today, Debo?
We got packed schedule. So we're gonna talk about some soccer first, and then move on to the NBA. Couple big stories going on there right now, and talk about the NFL to wrap this podcast episode up, especially with
Beautiful.
preseason right now. So hey
Beautiful.
man, we got a stacked list. We got a very stacked list.
Only like 20 days left till like football starts. Official football starts. And we
Woo!
know
I
who's got that
can't
first game of the
wait.
season.
I can't wait. Chiefs Lions Sunday night.
It's gonna be a
No,
good game.
Sunday night. Thursday
Thursday night.
night.
Thursday night. But Sunday
NBC.
night crew.
It's, yeah, Sunday night crew. It's gonna be a
Hmm.
banger. It's gonna be a banger.
Yeah. Wait,
But
wait.
mm,
Speaking of crews, is Tom Brady commentating this year?
no, he's gonna do it next year. He said he's gonna take a break.
Good for him.
So
Good for
the
him.
yeah, so the main Fox crew, for like the America's Game of the Week, that is still going to be Kevin Burkhardt and Greg
Greg
Olson.
Olson.
So they're gonna
Nice.
they're gonna lead that.
Nice. Super Bowl crew. Super Bowl crew.
Man, I actually like them as a duo.
They're good. They're good. Uh, yeah. Ryan Burkhart's very underrated in my opinion.
Oh, very underrated. I think him and Olsen, they're probably like what a top three duo in the NFL right now.
Yeah. I'd put Romo and Nance. I know Danny doesn't like him. I think you don't like Tony Romo either. But they're kind of just
But
like Romo's definitely lost some like sauce to him. Like he definitely
yeah,
had some pizzazz when he first got in. Like specifically when the Patriots and the Chiefs were going at it at Arrowhead,
hmm
like that game where he was calling everything, like literally
bro,
everything.
that
That
broke
was
my
peak
heart
Romo.
so much. That broke my heart so much. Like in the fact that I can't even really get mad at him because he called that beautifully. He executed that beautifully,
Yeah.
calling every single play.
Mhm.
Bro,
Mhm.
I was pissed at the time, but I was like, "Hey man, I understand. Like you've been in the league as a quarterback for a very long time, so he has
Yeah.
to know the X's and O's of the offense."
For
I
sure.
wasn't mad at that, but
And then Jim Nance is as Hall of Fame as it gets for a broadcaster. And then
mm,
I would also have I'd have the former Fox and now ESPN crew, Troy Aikman and Joe Buck.
Aikman and Joe Buck, yeah, I like
Yeah,
those two.
yeah. I'm not huge on the Manning cast.
You're not? Why
No,
not?
I don't know. I'm so used to like I tried tuning into the Manning cast, but I'm so used to just having a play-by-play and then a color commentator that it kind of felt weird to me.
Nah, okay, so here's how I do it. When Monday Night Football's on, obviously, when the game is complete trash, and I know it's complete trash, I head to the Manning cast. It's too
That's fair.
easy. It just makes it more entertaining.
That's fair. That's fair. They definitely do have some good conversation and some good interviews on there. I will admit that.
Yeah, I love the celebrities they bring on there too. Oh, the one Shannon Sharp, that was probably my favorite one. The last year, week one, Broncos Seahawks, the ending, bro, that
That
was
was good. That was
hilarious.
good. That
That
was
was
good.
hilarious. You had that man Shannon Sharp squinting on the screen like what? What? Bro, it was funny.
Would you
It
put
was
would you
funny.
put Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth above Burkhardt and Olsen?
No, the
I think that's a
chemistry's not
close one.
there. The chemistry's not there for me. Like
Yeah.
a Al Michaels and Collinsworth.
Why did he have to leave?
Because he was old, man, and it showed on Thursday Night Football. The
Nah.
man doesn't care
If he
anymore.
stayed Sunday Night Football, he still would have been class.
No, bro. Like you watched the Jaguars Chargers wild card game, right? It was on NBC. He was commentating
Yeah.
that game.
Hmm.
Lifeless throughout, lifeless announcing the ending when the Patterson he kicked the field goal to win the game. Bro, that was the worst call I have ever heard for a game-winning field goal. I'm sorry. You don't got it
But to
no
that
more.
point, they didn't give him Chris Collinsworth. He's like he had to think I'm really gonna be back on NBC, and you're not gonna give me the dude who we were the most iconic duo of all time, of my lifetime at least. I don't know of all time, but my lifetime I
For,
think they were the
for
best.
right for older people, probably they would say Pat Summerall and John Madden when they were on NB. Well, I'm
Nah,
sorry,
they'd say Phil
CBS
Sims.
and Fox. What?
They'd say Phil Sims
No, they would say Summerall and John Madden.
probably.
Bro,
John
like they
Madden was
love
good
those
actually.
two.
John
Yeah,
Madden was good.
salute. But
Phil Sims was awful. I thought.
Phil Sims was trash, complete trash,
Hmm.
complete trash. I'm sorry, but we gotta move on. We gotta move on. We gotta
Let's
actually
go.
start
Let's
with
go.
the. We gotta start the show. So we gotta start with soccer, and one of the biggest transfer moves this summer was Neymar, Brazilian superstar, heading to Saudi Arabian club Al-Hilal. Al-Hilal, they paid Neymar. No, they paid PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, $99 million to get the move done. And so, with that being said, Matt, how do you feel about the move?
Depressed. Depressed. I mean, think about like the generation we grew up with: Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, Sergio Ramos. Like all those players, where are they now? Either Saudi Arabia or MLS. And it's kind of like the last of our generation is going away. Um, it's also sad to see like that all these players who have still made millions are still going to try to make more millions. You know what I mean? Like they gave
I
Neymar a
understand.
bag, including something where I heard it says that he gets $500,000 every time he promotes Saudi Arabia in a social media post. So if I was Neymar, I'd be posting every single day. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but like Neymar had like a 10-year Nike deal where he was like the best seller. Obviously, he sold millions of dollars worth of jerseys from whether it was switching to Barcelona or from Barcelona to PSG. Like he's made all the sales he can make. I personally don't like just seeing players going for the bag. Like I respect it, of course, because who doesn't? But get your bag. But I just don't like to see it. I think MLS Neymar would have been fun to watch.
Wouldn't be okay. So wouldn't Neymar to MLS be at the same time like bag chasing still?
it would be bag chasing, but it's like it's less apparent or it's less obvious, if that makes sense.
Would you say it would be
Because because
like
because
well,
because
no,
like
wait, hold on.
Messi's move to the MLS was bag chasing, right?
Yeah.
But Messi's also sponsored by Adidas. So when and MLS jerseys are MLS kits are all made by Adidas. So when the MLS is doing better, Messi does better. Like, so I would have preferred Neymar to do something like that where, oh, I'm going to America where soccer, it's kind of been like a lower tier sport, but I'd love to help elevate it like Messi's doing. I think that's something that while you're also making a bag, it's kind of fulfilling. Whereas I don't necessarily know, I'm obviously not in Saudi Arabia, but I don't know if you're getting that fulfilling element in Saudi Arabia.
Um, yeah, to that extent, I agree with you too, Matt. With Saudi Arabia, of course, they're getting way more superstars than MLS to their league. Like Saudi Arabia, they have Conte, Benzema, Ronaldo, now Neymar, uh,
Mahrez,
Mahrez. We got
Mendy,
Mahrez from Man City. You said Mendy?
Mendy, the
Yeah,
keeper.
Mendy from Chelsea. Yeah, Mendy from Chelsea. And so they're bringing all of these superstars into their league, but at the same time, which league is getting more attention? Which league's getting more buzz?
MLS.
Ding ding
Because of
ding.
MLS districts, that shit got me going crazy.
Hey, go follow that account, man. They, and by they I mean I, make some good content on there. So hey, please check that out if y'all can. But as I was saying, right, MLS right now, and that's largely due to their deal with Apple, like their branding and how they're moving with like posting highlights, posting clips of Messi. It's getting worldwide appeal. It's
Hmm.
getting eyes on this league. It's getting eyes on soccer in America. While in Saudi Arabia, the TV type like of coverage, the media type of coverage, it's not really there compared to MLS.
No, for sure, for sure. Because it's like, don't you have to like illegally stream it to watch the Saudi league at this point?
I mean, well, you can. That's like a major option people do. Like I believe like the worldwide TV deal for the Saudi league is like BN Sports,
Okay, okay. Because
which no one uses BN Sports. By the
I
way,
know
no one
before
does.
they like Live Golf merged with PGA. I know like when Live Golf was trying to be a competitor of PGA, like their biggest problem was that nobody could watch it. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, um,
Like, bro, like whenever Ronaldo's doing something in Saudi Arabia, I always have to look at Bleacher Report or ESPN FC to watch it. Like,
hmm
they don't got it on Twitter. And
hmm
if they do get on Twitter, it's just a bunch of clips of some like big ass watermark in front of the actual clip with some Arabic commentary. Which, by the way, no offense
no,
to the
none,
commentators,
none.
they are great. They are great. Alongside Mexican commentators, the best people to commentate a soccer game. So salute to y'all. Y'all doing a great thing. I ain't mean that as like any hate. So I just want to get that out of the way.
No, for sure, for sure. Of course, that goes without saying. Um, but to your point, and you said this in the group chat. I don't know if you've ever said it in the podcast, but the reason to us at least that MLS has more of an appeal than the Saudi league is because in the MLS you have I think it's 30 teams, right? Or is it
Nearly 30, nearly 30. It's currently 28 if I'm correct.
28, 28. You got 28 teams, but all the teams have these youth academies that have been growing over the last couple years that have a pipeline like starting from U8, even younger than that probably. And they've been working all those players. They have good facilities, good training grounds, and as a result, you get some young talent in the MLS. Specifically, you're even seeing it with Messi, that 18-year-old who was going off. Whereas
Mm,
Whereas in the Saudi league, like you've mentioned, it's the top five teams where they're spending loads of money to accumulate their talent, and then the remaining teams in that league are just complete shitters. No offense, but come on, let's be honest.
that is true. That is very true.
Yeah, I
And,
mean,
and yeah, and I know
go
we're
ahead.
kind of moving away from Neymar, but when we talk about the Saudi league, it's just only five teams that are doing all of this spending. It's not the
Hmm.
majority of these teams, and
Hmm.
so down the line, I think the league has to be worried about this type of imbalance with the very top teams in the league compared to the mid tier and the bottom half. Because you look at how much money they're spending, it's just night and day. It's a 9 day
Yeah.
difference.
No, and I know the FIFA president said it a while ago, but he was talking about the Saudi league when they were first getting all these players, and he thought that they were making a huge mistake. He was saying like, look, like you're spending 99 million on one player who's at the end of his career. He maybe has 1 or 2 years left, if that. And whereas if you wanted to, you could be spending that 99 million on a youth academy where you're building all these nice facilities. You got these film rooms, you got these gyms where they can train, and you're building a pipeline so that the next generation, yeah, you might be bad for another 10 years, but you've been bad for the last 100 years. What's another 10 years to you? And like they're doing all of this for somewhat relevancy when it's really not that relevant in my opinion.
No, and as for the players, superstar players in the Saudi league, bro, all they're there for is money.
That paycheck,
They're just there for
100%.
money. Like
And
Ronaldo
MLS,
and
I don't think
yeah,
I
yeah,
think there's
and I don't respect that, and I don't like disrespect that at all to an extent. Like, hey, if I'm getting offered mad amounts of money just to play in a soccer league, I take that money easily.
exactly.
At the
We all
same
said we would
time,
have taken the
yeah,
money if we were Mbappe.
right, of course. But at the same time, like all these guys like Ronaldo, they can say whatever they want about the Saudi league and like the growth in said league, but they just care about the money. It's all about the money. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew about this, man, but one of the players, Igalo, he played for Watford and Man United in the
Oh
Premier League.
yeah. The
Yeah,
striker.
yeah, he came out and said like, "Yo, I'm just here for the money. We're all here for the money. That's all we're here for."
No, and on the flip side, Messi, I think he came out. It was like yesterday or 2 days ago, and he was talking about how he thinks MLS was one of the best decisions he's ever made, and he has no regrets. He says that he loves it here.
Yeah, it being great for him and his family. He also said that he wanted to go back to Barcelona too, and that
Mm-hmm.
PSG was he didn't want to go to PSG like that. His main target was Barcelona.
Do you think? I just wish Neymar never made that move to PSG. If Neymar never made that move to PSG, Messi probably is still at Barcelona right now.
Maybe. I mean, bro, MSN during their prime was peak.
Special.
It,
It was
it
must see
was the
TV.
peak, bro. It was the peak of the sport, man.
Yeah.
It was the peak of the
But
sport.
we also were very lucky because we grew up when Madrid and Barca had the best rivalry of all time, right? We saw Ronaldo versus
Yeah,
Messi, Neymar versus Bale, Benzema versus Suarez. You saw those midfields go at each other. Like it was peak soccer.
like yeah, it was pure bliss, man. It was pure bliss,
Mm,
and I miss it. And I miss it. I really do.
100%.
Right, but I was about to ask you this question. What does this mean for Neymar's legacy? By the way, like what is
You answer
Neymar?
this because I've always rated Neymar the lowest in our group. I've always rated Neymar the lowest in our group. So you got to answer that first.
I mean, at the same time, like he's accomplished so much. Some people they're coming out after this move, like they're just saying that he's been he's been an underachiever ever since him being a wonder kid at Santos, and with this move to Saudi Arabia, it just seals it. But that's not the case for me. Like at his absolute peak, other than Messi and Ronaldo, he was challenging for that third spot for best player in the world.
Mm, there were some good midfielders in there. There were some good midfielders in there. Um, Hold on. I heard this the other day. I heard Neymar's NBA comparison is Kyrie Irving. I thought that was beautiful. I thought that was as perfect a comparison as you can get.
Okay, do you care to explain why like
Absolutely,
those two
absolutely,
are similar?
absolutely. Similar to Kyrie Irving, in soccer terms, Neymar probably has the deepest bag. When it comes to tricks and flashiness, like you will not beat Neymar. However, similar to Kyrie Irving, Neymar really hasn't done a lot by himself, and when he has succeeded, it has been when he has been with the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was a very clever comparison, and I thought personally it works out very well. Go for it. Ask ahead.
And hey, fair enough, man. And so with Neymar currently in Saudi Arabia right now, like the deal's been done. He's gonna play there for the next 2-3 years.
I think so.
And so, what could possibly salvage his legacy to some people's eyes?
A World Cup. I don't know. I don't know if he'll be on the next team though. I think he will. I think he will.
There honestly could be a chance, man,
I think.
that he doesn't make it.
How far is it's 2 years away or no? It's 3 years away at this point.
3 years away in 2026.
Yeah, 2026, summer of 2026. So a little bit less than 3 years. But I think it would have to be a World Cup.
It would be.
If he wins the
I
Saudi
do
League,
agree.
is that moving anybody? Oh my God, he won the
Hell
Saudi League.
no.
Go,
Hell
Neymar
no.
is peak. Neymar is top 10 all time.
Bro, Ronaldo, they just won the cup. Al Nasser and Ronaldo, they won the cup, right, for the Arabic League, or it's called like the Arab Cup, if I'm correct.
Yep.
You know, like speaking on that, like nobody cared really. Nobody really cared about that.
Yeah.
If we're being completely honest. And so, if you're the Brazilian Federation, I'm seeing Neymar potentially getting all these trophies, getting all these goals in the Saudi League. I really couldn't care less about that.
Yeah. Especially because we've seen what Neymar does when he's in like a farmers league, right? Like we saw in League One, he was.
Bro, no, don't call, bro. Come on,
League One is actually
bro.
the second best league in the world at the moment.
No, it's not the second best league.
What do you think's better, Italy, Serie A?
Serie A, bro. For me, it goes Premier League 1. That's a clear one.
Yeah.
Serie A 2. La Liga 3.
No,
Bundesliga 4.
La Liga's fallen off. La Liga's fallen off. It's a top three. It's been top three for the last 10 years. It can't be like that.
It's better than Ligue 1. How is it not, bro? How is it not better than Ligue 1?
Because while Ligue 1, yes, it's dominated by PSG, 2 through 20 is competitive. Right? We saw Monaco. Didn't Monaco either win or they were like second place and then they were relegated the next season? Like that's how like 50 it is in there. So while PSG might dominate, which is very true, I would say that the rest of the league is fairly competitive. Whereas in La Liga, it's just not a high talent level between those like 5 through 20 slots.
All right, here's my rebuttal though. Like La Liga's performances in the Champions League,
Sure,
Europa League, and the Conference League, bro, it just blows League 1 out the water. League 1 out the water.
Shout out Sevilla.
Yeah, Sevilla won the Europa League last year, if I'm correct. Villarreal won it against Man United a couple years ago. Real Madrid and Barcelona, they're guaranteed to make deep runs. Not really Barcelona, but
yeah,
as I was saying,
not anymore.
Yeah,
but PSG isn't guaranteed to make deep runs. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's a fair argument. But back to my point, what I was saying, like Neymar in that less talented league, he was already doing rainbows when he was on PSG. He was literally only doing tricks, like wouldn't even care about the game sometimes. He would just be messing with players and toying with them. Now he's in the Saudi League. Like, can you imagine what he's going to do to those players? He's not going to take that shit serious.
Serious. Right, and I know the league's going to give him that treatment to where, like, bro, you cannot make any hard tackles on Neymar. You cannot hit Neymar. You can't do any of that. Just let him score. Let him do his rainbow flicks. Let him do his tricks, and move on. Keep it moving. It's just for entertainment.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty accurate. But I would say they're gonna make sure like Neymar gets hit at least a couple times so that they could get his like rolling and stuff. Because we all know that's part of Neymar's game. We might hate to admit it, but it's part of Neymar's game.
Yeah, you mean like flopping or?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Neymar. Yeah,
Neymar's one of the bad ones. Neymar's like one of the absurd ones.
Yeah. He's been really bad at it his entire career. But at the same time, like some teams just, especially in like down in CONMEBOL, like South America competition, bro, they beat the shit out of Neymar.
Oh, for sure. That man is getting like gangbanged sometimes on the pitch.
Pause.
No, not even a pause. There was a stat. I think it was this past World Cup. Neymar was the most fouled player in like every single game or something. Like he was Brazil's most fouled player, and then I think he was the most fouled player in the tournament, and Brazil went out early.
Oh, they beat the shit out of Neymar. Like I
Yeah.
remember in the Copa America final in like 2021, bro. All Argentina did was hack the shit out of him every single time he got the ball. It was looking like American football. It was looking like the NFL with that.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I'm telling you, like it was bad.
No, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. They try to go at him. Neymar will. It's like a lock. This they'll never do this, but if DraftKings had like a bet and it was like Neymar to hit the ground over or under 10 times, you're hammering the over every single time.
I'm hammering it over for sure.
Exactly, exactly.
For sure.
All right, all right. Let's talk about some James Harden.
Yeah, let's talk about some basketball. And by basketball, I mean James Harden and Daryl Morey. That whole beef, that whole feud going on in Philly right now. And as I say that, James Harden, he was on his media tour for Adidas in China, and he was doing his little presentation, and he stated about Daryl Morey, Sixers GM, and I quote: "Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he is a part of."
Irony, irony, irony. If you think back, not even a couple years ago, when he was at Houston, he was demanding out, and he said, "I want two teams and two teams only." The Brooklyn Nets, because they have Mike D'Antoni, former James Harden coach when he was an MVP, and Philadelphia 76ers, because they have Daryl Morey. And those two were like this. Those two were close, like peanut butter and jelly, almost as one would say. Um, and then James Harden took a pay cut last year, which I assume was Daryl Morey in his ear saying, "Hey, you take a pay cut this year, so we can bring in some guys like PJ Tucker and Daniel House, some good vets, and in exchange next year we'll get you a nice long-term deal since you are getting to that age." Now, one can only assume after a very poor playoff display and a poor playoff showing against the Boston Celtics that Daryl Morey, who has been with James Harden since his Rocket days, who has seen James Harden's what do you want to call it miscalibrations or misnomers or no shows in the playoffs since
Mm-hmm.
his Houston Rocket days, and now seeing it with Embiid in Philadelphia yet again, decided not to give him that long-term contract. So, do I think he's a liar? Yes. Do I think it's the right decision? Yes. It's
You
my
think it's
long
the right
answer.
decision to not pay for
It,
James
it is.
Harden?
It is. It is. I think so personally. I think if because you already have Embiid on max money. Tobias Harris is on the last year of his contract, but he's the highest paid player on the team, making close to 40 mil a year. You have PJ Tucker who's still making 7 mil a year. You're gonna have to pay Tyrese Maxey soon, right? So you have all this like max money, heavy money, and you're gonna give another max contract to a point guard who's aging, who's past his prime, who's consistently been a disappointing playoff performer. I think it's the right decision.
Man,
The only thing I
losing.
dislike is
Hmm.
that well, I don't dislike it because I think the Knicks have a good chance to get this guy, but I think it escalates Joel Embiid asking out. Which I don't know if you want to talk about that or if you think that's realistic.
Bro, I've been saying that the Sixers should blow it up after what just happened last year against the Celtics, my Celtics. But them going out like that in seven, you're up 3-2, game six, you're at home, uh, late fourth quarter, you have the game, you almost have the game like under wraps. You're about to go to your first conference final since the AI days back in '01, right? And you choke like that. And then the game after, game seven at Boston, you completely give up in the second half. Harden goes outside and B goes outside. The entire team just
It was not
complete
there.
no
It was
show.
not there.
Just a
So
complete no show.
I'm on X right now. X, not Twitter. And I looked up James Harden trades. And the first one that came up was Kendrick Perkins trade idea from 4 days ago. And it involves your Boston Celtics.
I
You want to
honestly
hear
don't
it?
want to
You want
hear
to
it.
hear this trade?
I really don't want to hear it.
Well, you're gonna hear
I
it.
damn it.
James Harden and Tyrese Maxey to the Boston Celtics. In exchange, The Philadelphia 76ers received Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, Malcolm Brogdon, and 2 future second-round picks. Thoughts? I think the 76ers might be fleecing you. As an understatement, they might be fleecing you. To give up Tatum and Porzingis for like an aging Harden and then Maxey, who I really do like Maxey's game personally, but that's a lot. But I would be happy to see it happen, knowing what team you support.
Yeah, we gotta move on from this. I don't want to hear anything about that trade
Well, this
off.
is like a more realistic trade in my opinion, and it involves your team.
Okay.
James Harden, PJ Tucker, Daniel House, and 2 second-round picks to Boston in exchange for Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White, and Al Horford. That's not a bad. I think that
Brogdon.
well, one, that's obviously more realistic because it's not coming from Kendrick Perkins. But two, I think you might have like a decision to make in that scenario.
Wait. So who initially came up with the trade?
His name is Munch on Twitter. Shout out Munch.
Fuck is a you said Munch? M U
Munch.
N
M
C
U
H.
N C H T V X is his handle.
Oh, man, that man is
But
Ice Spice,
so
man.
if this trade
Crazy.
happens, your starting lineup is James Harden, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, PJ Tucker, and Robert Williams. Not a bad starting lineup, dude.
Nah,
You
it's
do lose
not.
some
But
depth
I'm
and some
straight.
defense.
Nah, I'm straight on that. I'm straight on that, bro. We lose like pretty much all of our perimeter defending.
Yeah,
So
especially because Marcus Smart's already gone, and now you're losing Derek White.
yeah, and so what? Brown would be our second best perimeter defender. I'm straight. I'm
Who'd be
good
your
on that.
best?
Tatum,
Fair, fair. Not PJ Tucker.
no.
He'd be up there though. He'd be up there. Wait, who you got coming off the bench in your guard positions?
The bench right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Well, because Brogdon is in this trade, so then it would be what? Peyton Pritchard
Well,
and
yeah, the rest of
Sam
our
Hauser.
guards on the roster would be Payne Pritchard, Sam Hauser, like you said, JD Davison.
Oh, yep.
He played in the G League last year, and Delano Banton from the Toronto
Oh,
Raptors.
Delano Benton. He's not bad. He's not bad. He'd actually get a lot of PT, which I'm for if that trade happens.
Uh,
But yeah, but I mean, if you're not even willing to give up 3 like rotational players for James Harden, like what? Because we know Daryl Morey's trying to get a star back in return for James Harden, and you're saying you're not even going to give up 3 rotational players. So it's like, what is a good package for Harden then?
let me say this: when that James Harden for CJ McConnell,
McCollum.
when that James Harden for CJ McCollum swap comes in from Wolves and Shams probably like 2 weeks from now, 2 3 weeks from now, bro. Let me just say that you heard it from here first, because hey, it might happen. Because James Harden's his value is so low right now, James Harden, that as a team, would you honestly give up multiple firsts, if not one first, and a couple pieces here and there for a guy that has over the years has ghosted many times in the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
has caused a lot of drama amongst multiple teams?
Mm-hmm. And you're talking about his value being low. I think he's even tying like Daryl Morey's hands behind his back because he's like, oh, I'm not reporting to camp. Oh, I want out. Trade talks might have broken down between the 76ers and the Clippers, but I'm not coming to camp. And it's basically putting Daryl Morey in a position where it's like he damn near has to lose a trade just to get James Harden off the roster at this point, just to get that dude who doesn't want to be in the locker room out of the team. And so
Yeah,
I think the Pelicans are a pretty good fit. I think it's Clippers and Pelicans as far as fit wise. I really do think that a Zion James Harden pick and roll would be pretty fun to watch.
it will be pretty fun. It would be really fun to watch for like 30 games.
30 games, if that. But
If
if that.
If
But I don't know though, because I kind of like watching like Brandon Ingram run the point guard, or even Zion when Zion's healthy run the point guard. And when you have James Harden, that's a really ball dominant player. So like that's also something teams have to consider because like the Pelicans, they still have like a youth movement going on with Herb Jones, with Trey Murphy, Zion, Brandon Ingram. Like these guys are still relatively young. And then if you bring in a guy like James Harden, that's kind of a win now move. And it's like you're gonna like let some of your players lose their years of development because you're trying to win now with a dude who's notoriously been poor in the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, the Pelicans would be a very good fit, on like face value because New Orleans, one of their biggest weaknesses these past few years with Zion was a consistent and reliable playmaker. I know that CJ McCollum, he's been the starting point guard ever since he got traded from Portland, and Jose Alvarado has been there getting minutes at that position. They tried Kerry Lewis, he not working out, and so they need that one guy, the playmaker to run the offense, to give guys easy looks, the floor, to spread the floor even more, to get easy transition buckets.
Mhm.
Certain aspects like that, and for them to bring a guy like Harden in, it will be solid for their team.
Yeah. Yeah. I kept on scrolling. There's a trade with him going to the Toronto Raptors. So now we have an East team, which I think the Toronto Raptors make a little bit of sense. Just
No,
kind of
no, they don't.
with what Masai is thinking. Not what we want them to do, but with what Masai is thinking. But the trade package is James Harden to the Raptors. In exchange, the 76ers receive Gary Trent Jr., Chris Boucher, Malachi Flynn, and a top 10 protected first round pick.
Well, man, let me speak on Toronto real quick, man.
Go
They
for it.
are possibly in one of the worst positions to be in right now in like the entire league because Van Vliet's already gone, so that's like a major piece from their championship winning roster back in 2019. He Van Vliet was like a borderline all star sometimes during his time in Toronto when he was like the consistent starter, and so now he's gone, and you still have guys like OG Ananobi, Siakam still, Gary Trent Jr. still here. You got these
Scotty Barnes.
guys that, yeah, well, I don't want to put Scotty Barnes in that type of,
Fair,
that
fair.
type of core. And so you got all these guys that they don't really put the timeline, and for those three players I mentioned to be three of your best guys, where last year they tried to go all in by trading away their first to get Jakob Poeltl, and what did that lead them to? A plane exit where they lost to a teenage no a
DR
plane
DeRozan.
a, yeah a plane exit where they lost to a middle schooler, DeMar
Yeah.
DeRozan's daughter, and
But
so
how
yeah,
about this? How about this then? So then their starting lineup looks like James Harden at the one, probably OG at the two, Scotty at the three, Pascal at the four, Jakob at the five, as I assume would be their starting lineup. And what Masai has said was the reason he didn't want to blow it up was because he said, we saw what Miami Heat did this year, lower seed entering, kind of we feel like we're kind of built the same way as them, a lot of wings, a lot of wing length, a lot of depth. Um, and we think we could make a championship run similar to Miami. Do you think that they could do that with the starting lineup like that or no?
fuck no.
Okay. I don't either. I don't either.
But they don't got the superstar, they don't got the defensive anchor, they don't got the coach like Spo. They don't have the mindset like a Heat team, like Heat culture. They don't have the shooters like a Miami. So absolutely not.
Yeah. No, I agree. Especially when that's a great point that you mentioned Eric Spoelstra because Eric Spoelstra is the Hall of Fame coach on one team, and on the other side you have a first year rookie head coach. So I really hope that Toronto has a fire sale this year at the trade deadline. It's long overdue.
Bro, they waited too long, man.
Yeah,
They waited
OG's
too
value
long.
peaked, I think. Last trade deadline was his you could have got a haul for OG.
Bro, they were offering 3, 4 first rounders for OG Ananobi, and he didn't accept it. This man Masai Ujiri was like, "Oh yeah, we're just trying to expect the market. Just trying to see what we have with our players. Bro, take the offer. You're never getting that again.
No, we'll see. We'll see. It might come back this trade deadline, but I don't know though, because last year was like one of one trade deadline. Like last year's trade deadline was special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. We just have to see. We just have to see.
Yeah. Let's move on now. Let's move on now.
Uh, yeah, the NBA schedule yesterday that dropped all the big games. This Christmas Day, opening night, all of them have dropped officially. No more leaks. It's all official. And so when you look down with the potential big games we have this year, what is your favorite?
Do you have them in front of you or not?
Let me pull that up real quick.
Okay. I think I could beat you to it. Let's. Um. Damn, this is bad podcasting. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, I got the Christmas games. That's probably the
Okay.
biggest event, right?
Yeah.
Where did it go? Okay. I'm gonna redo the Christmas games. I'm gonna read all of them first, and then you tell me which one you're most excited for.
Okay.
So to kick off the day, we got New York starting it off per usual against the Milwaukee
Ooh.
Bucks.
Yeah, that's the game I'm least excited for.
Yeah, probably. Even I can admit.
Oh,
Uh,
every single Knicks game on Christmas Day is the least excited
it's
game.
a it's a good warm up for the day. It's a good warm up for the day.
Yeah, bro. Imagine, no, like I'm sorry, but as a Knicks fan, I know it's hard to see your team lose every single every single year that's all on
We
Christmas.
won 2 years ago. We just lost this past year. We destroyed the fuck
Well,
out of the Hawks 2 years ago.
yeah, without Trey Young, it didn't count.
No, I think Trey Young was there. I think they
No,
were
he didn't.
out.
No,
I think
no,
they were
Trey Young
out
did not.
DeAndre Hunter.
But I'm pretty sure Trey Young did not play that game because of COVID.
I think you might be wrong. We'll have to
I
we'll
think
have to
I'm
check.
right. I
But
might be
moving
right.
on, Warriors Nuggets follow that game.
Okay, that's lit.
Celtics Lakers.
Okay, I see. I see.
Um, 76ers Heat, and then to round the night off, it is Dallas Mavericks Phoenix Suns.
Dallas, Phoenix. Um, damn, that's hard. To be honest, I'm gonna be a little bit biased. I'm gonna go with Celtics, Lakers.
I don't think that's a bad pick. I don't think you can go wrong with that pick.
Uh, but for another game, I have. I'm excited about Warriors Nuggets as well. Denver. They usually get the late night game, like the late night game where like
Yeah.
everybody's about to go to bed. And so I'm looking at it right now, and that it's like at the 12. It's a 12:30 game, so
Mhm.
lots of eyes are gonna be on that as well. You have Jokic going up against Steph, so it's gonna be a good one. Probably gonna be high scoring as well.
Talking about Nuggets late games this year or this past year, they had the game against Phoenix, which that was probably one of the best games of the season. But to your point, it didn't end till like 12:30 at night.
Bro, Aaron Gordon probably had dunk of the year,
100%. I
and
don't know what
nobody
could you
cared
argue over
about
that.
it. Bro, and nobody cared about it. Nobody. I
That
remember the
nah,
highlight being posted.
in the stadium it was crazy.
No, I'm talking about like the NBA
Yeah,
community as a whole.
yeah,
Nobody cared about it. It was posted that night, and then like a week later, nobody cared about it. I was like,
yeah.
damn, bro, he boomed on him.
He did. He literally put him in a body bag, like full, like laid on him, landed on him. Um,
Bro, that boy was swinging to the side from the side, bro. Like
but
whole jam, like it was crazy.
similar to you, my favorite game or the game I'm most interested in is probably that Celtics Lakers game. But if I'm choosing a different one, I think the game that's intriguing me the most is that Maverick Suns. Those two are brewing a rivalry over the last 2 years. Whether it is remember the meme of Luca staring at Devin Booker and then the Mavericks humiliating the Suns in Game 7, and then this past year when they were going at it when Kevin Durant was already on the Suns and Kyrie was on the Mavs. Devin Booker went up to Luca after he missed the game-winning layup and got in his face.
Uh,
Like there's
yeah,
so
I
many
like that.
narratives.
I like
It's
that.
a rivalry in the making, and so I'm really excited for that. That's primetime TV, 10:30 Eastern time. I'm excited for that one.
Me as well, man. That's the 8:30 game. Our
That's
time,
8:30.
8:30 our time. Man,
8:30 our time.
man, that's like the time that we're getting back from like family events. So I gotta be wide open for that, man, because that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
That's
No,
gonna be a good
100%.
one.
100%. And
Mm.
those teams had quite a bit of offseason moves, whether it was the Mavericks bringing in Derek Lively through the draft or getting Grant Williams in free agency. And then the Suns, I mean, they brought so many players in on the minimum. Bol Bol, Eric Gordon, I'm blanking Drew Eubanks. I'm blanking on the others, but like there's a lot of new players who are going to be in that rivalry, and I'm excited to see it. I did also hear though when Grant Williams was on JJ Redick's podcast, he was saying that he even has beef with Devin Booker.
For what? Well,
Not like beef, but every time they play, like Devin Booker be like talking shit to Grant Williams.
oh, bro, Devin Booker is a dickhead on that court, man. I'm sorry, but
Hey,
hey, I like being, bro. I like players being dickheads sometimes because it makes for great basketball. It makes for a great
exactly,
product.
exactly.
So we
You can
need
be a
more people like
dickhead. You
Devin
can be a
Booker.
dickhead if you back it up too. And that
Yeah,
man is the best shooting guard in the league.
debatably,
I thought we were past that. I thought we were past that.
debatably.
Are you do
Donovan
this?
Mitchell
Do
might
you
have a
still think it's
piece.
Donovan Mitchell?
I think right now it's Devin Booker, but it's probably like 1A, 1B right now between D Booker and Spider.
Hmm.
You could make a debate about
Interesting.
Mitchell being better than Booker.
Huh?
You could make a debate about Mitchell being better than Booker, but
You could, but right
I
now,
wouldn't make that
after
right
after
now.
after the last postseason, it's Booker.
No, I want to make that claim right now. But
Yeah.
moving on from the Christmas Day games, opening night, we're gonna have Lakers Nuggets. The Nuggets ring ceremony, of course, from their chip run. That's the 7:30 Eastern time game, and then the night capper would be Suns Warriors. Chris Paul's first game as a Warrior, going back,
Revenge game.
playing against the Phoenix Suns. KD going up against the Warriors at the Chase Center. It's gonna be a
Oh,
good one. It's gonna be a good one. I can't wait for that.
interesting. I would probably still put Nuggets Lakers ahead of that, just because that was what we saw last year in the conference finals, and then obviously there's been a lot of talking between the two teams this offseason with
Ooh,
yeah with
yeah,
Braun
I
saying,
like
"Oh, I'm
that.
using it as motivation," and Darvin Ham saying, "We're coming for them." Rui Hachimura has been talking, and then on the flip side, you got Coach Michael Malone saying, "Yeah, we're not afraid of them. That's why we beat them in four." Bruce
Mhm.
Brown, who he's not on the team anymore, but he was on Theo Pinson's podcast, and he was saying, "Yeah, we were never in doubt that we were going to lose the series against the Lakers. Like the Lakers weren't our hardest matchup; it was the Timberwolves." And so like I feel like the Lakers feel a little disrespected. I feel like the Nuggets want to still prove that they're the favorites in the West. So I
Yeah.
think that's the most interesting game.
And for people that, some people might be confused to why are the Nuggets talking that much smack about the Lakers last year in the playoffs? The Lakers weren't talking anything about them, but let me give y'all a little bit of a history lesson.
Please.
Throughout the Nuggets' entire history in the playoffs, every time they went up against the Los Angeles Lakers, except last year, of course, the Lakers always beat that ass every single time. In the 80s, when the Nuggets had Alex English, Dan Issel, Kiki Vandeweghe, if I'm correct, the Showtime Lakers were Magic in them. They always kicked their ass. Fast forward to the 2000s, the Kobe era, going up against Melo, same thing. I remember in 2012, the
Another
Nuggets they
world
lost
peace.
seven. Yeah, they lost in seven to the Lakers, and in the bubble, of course, the same thing happened. Lost in five. 80 hit the game winner as well. I think Mason Plumlee had the worst defense I've ever seen on a pick and roll in my life. He didn't switch
He
at
should not have
all.
been on the court.
You said what?
He should not have been on the court. Let's be honest.
No, like it was a horrible play defensively from him. Like that was bad. That was really bad. And so let me continue. So throughout the NBA history, the Lakers have always beaten the Nuggets when it matters the most. And last year, that was the exception. And for Nuggets players and Nuggets fans, they know their history. And they know that, yeah, we don't like LA. We don't like them at all. We want to kick their ass every single time we play them. And so that's why they're talking that much trash. That's why Michael Malone was like, he was just shitting on the Lakers during that whole ring ceremony.
Yeah, he
That's
was.
why.
He was. He was. But similar to the Devin Booker shit. Like when you're number one, when you're on top, you can talk that shit. And that's why I'm excited for the first game. And that's why I'm excited specifically for that Nuggets Lakers game. Because it's like now you gotta back that shit up. Like you can't come in with the championship hangover. Like you gotta back it up week like day one, literally the first game of the season. You gotta back up that talk, you gotta back up that walk. And we know that the Lakers are gonna go out of their way to not let it happen.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I can't wait for it. It's gonna
But
be crazy.
what is with the Lakers always being at these ring ceremonies, right? Because I remember a couple years ago, or no, I think it was last year when the Warriors. Was it last year or was it 2 years ago?
No, it was last year.
It was last year, where the Warriors had their ring ceremony. The Lakers were the opening day game. This year they're opening day game. They were the opening day game when LeBron first got there, and they were going against the Trailblazers, because that was like must see TV. Um, that was a young Lakers team too. It's like they're always. I mean, it makes sense that they're the opening day game because it's the Lakers,
Hmm.
not the Clippers.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
And right, the Lakers, they're the most marketable team in the entire league. They have the most marketable player in the entire league now with LeBron James. That's been the
ever.
case for like the past few years now. Yeah, probably ever. You can make a debate
Hmm.
about it, either being Jordan, even Kobe, but you know, arguably the most marketable player the NBA's ever seen. And so, hey, every time they make for good ratings, whether they're good or they're bad.
Yeah, we're still waiting for that LA playoff series though. Is
Yeah,
this
that's
the
never
year?
happening. Hell no, that's never happening. I don't really care
It'd
if
do
it happens
numbers.
too.
It would
So
do numbers.
I don't think it would. I think we're past that train.
A game seven, if it goes to game seven,
Maybe
Clippers
it
playing
depends
seven
on.
away games though. That's tough.
I don't know. Like, are we really gonna count on Kawhi and PG to both stay healthy throughout the entire postseason run right now? Because throughout their entire history of them being together, on the Clippers, it's only happened once, just one
It
time.
has, it has. But before the Clippers, I mean, they were known as like healthy playoff performers, like elite playoff performers. Specifically, Paul George in his Pacer days. Kawhi, whether you want to go back to San Antonio or Toronto, was always an elite playoff performer. So it is just about the health. But that's also like the biggest question mark when it comes to Clippers, and it has been for the last couple of years.
Yeah, and it will continue to be a big question mark. It will
Hundred
be
percent.
like the same thing is gonna happen next year too. So I'm not gonna be surprised about that at all. Moving on with the league schedule, the in-season tournament. I don't think we've talked about this at all on this podcast, but that released as well. Of course, the regular season games, they're going to be intertwined with said tournament as well. Um, there will be 6 5-team groups from the 30 teams in the entire league, where leading up to where I think both the semifinal and the final will be played in Vegas. And so, with that being said, Matt, are you excited for this in-season tournament?
It's hard to answer. It's hard to answer. I want to say it like this. I'm not a huge proponent of an in-season tournament. I kind of do just like the traditional regular season, and then we get the playoffs. But I do want to say this. You might not like Adam Silver. You've stated that publicly on this podcast. However, I think Adam Silver is arguably the best commissioner in all of the big sports, in all of the major sports. And I think some of the things he's done have been like massive hits, whether it's the playing game, whether it's trying to limit load management. Um, if you got anything, because I'm not getting anything else off the top of the head, but stuff like that. Like I thought the playing game. I remember people were very unexcited or like it wasn't very anticipated, the playing game. And obviously
Mhm.
this year it was huge, like it was very exciting. And the past couple years it's really been exciting. So I I'm a big fan of the playing game at this point. And then previously, like while I might not have been a huge fan of this, I'm at least willing to give it a chance because I've seen like some of the stuff he's implemented has actually been a better product for the NBA.
I just don't really care about it.
Yeah,
I just
that's
really
kind of how it
don't.
is.
I just kind of don't like, and this kind of goes the same way for the playing tournament. Like, I get for some teams like the Thunder last year, it's great to get some type of playoff experience as well. But like the playing tournament, if Absolute was like, okay, yeah, we're just gonna scrap this, like we don't care about this in season tournament anymore. Like, I honestly wouldn't care. I really couldn't
No,
because at the
and I think
same.
that's something like to Adam Silver's credit, where he is
Mhm.
like, hey, if it's not working, I have no problem getting rid of it. But why not give it a chance? You know, like there's load management going on in the regular season. We want to see if players will actually play. We want to see if maybe this in-season tournament gets ratings up. Maybe it gets players actually excited about playing regular season games. So I think it's better to have a commissioner who's at least trying to make it so that the regular season is still competitive and you're still getting these exciting games and stuff to look forward to instead of just waiting for the postseason. And so I at least like it from that perspective. But to your point, like how much do we really care about it?
Yeah, and how much do like the actual players themselves care about it? I mean, one of the biggest issues with the regular season being boring to some people is that players, marquee guys, they don't consistently start games. They don't play in games, and so with this in season tournament being put in place, are these players really gonna care about said tournament? Because I initially thought that the entire the entire regular season itself would pause for this tournament. But now with the news about the regular season games are going to count with like the group stage games, I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
don't think it'll make that much of a difference. I just think that players and teams, they're going to allow these players to be like, well, for instance, like a Clippers or even a Golden State Warriors or Milwaukee Bucks, teams that have higher expectations to to aim at winning an NBA title, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, like yeah, if you're tired, like you need some rest. Yeah, we're during the this in season tournament game. Yeah, we're gonna give you the night off. Like we don't really care about this. You don't really like this isn't a big goal compared to
Yeah,
winning an NBA
but I
championship.
could also see the flip side where it's like, oh, these group stages count. Well, we might as well like try to win, get some regular season total, so we could get some higher seeding, get some home court advantage. We've already seen coaches like Ty Lue talk about the importance of that and how he's going to limit their players like load management because he realizes like last season we saw how home court advantage like impacted the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets only lost what was it what one game at home last season in the postseason. They went I think they only lost game two at home
Against the Heat.
against the Heat.
I don't think it was only against the Heat. It was.
They won the first two against the Timberwolves and then won game five at home.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely didn't lose at home against the Suns. I know that for a fact. Swept the
Yeah,
Lakers.
yeah, for sure.
So it was the Heat. It was the Heat. Unless it was the Timberwolves. I might be unless the Timberwolves took game two. But I don't
No,
think
no,
they
they
did.
didn't. No,
Yeah.
they didn't. No.
But like we are seeing how much home court advantage matters. So maybe a coach is like, hey, like why don't we focus on those group stages and we'll see how far we can get. Maybe we win our group and maybe we actually are making it to these knockout stages of this in-season tournament. And maybe we do want to win some jewelry. So like I don't know. I don't know. But like it's kind of hard to gauge my excitement on it. I don't know. Like I feel like my engagement will go up as the NBA season continues as that gets closer, but like right
Hmm.
now I'm not like super crazy about it.
Yeah, I feel like for teams that are in the playing tier or in the rebuilding tier, they're gonna be the most excited for this because teams like the Pacers or even or other teams like
The
the
Magic.
Rockets, the Magic, the Nets, teams like that. They're gonna be around those spots, those playing spots. Some teams they're gonna be in a rebuilding phase, like the Spurs with Wemby, and so for these teams, their mindset with this tournament could be like, "Yo, we could honestly make a deep run in this tournament, potentially get a trophy, get a huge trophy, boost these young players' morale, and help build to a more championship oriented culture, to a more winning culture." And so I think that is one of the main positives with this in-season tournament.
Mm. But I mean, I don't know. I think that's a very good point, though. I do think that those rebuilding teams will be very interested in something like this, similar to playing. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like, I think if you still get like, because let's think about it in this sense, right? The Houston Rockets and the Spurs the last couple of years, right? They've been tanking to the point where they won't even play their starters, or like the Thunder are a great example of this. Actually, the Thunder are a better example because previously to this season, they would shut down Shea when there was like 20 games left in the season. They would shut him down
Mhm.
and just go full tank mode. And during the regular season, they would kind of coast and let those players like just sit by. But now with like there's something to win, there's actually something to play for. You're kind of enticing those normally tanking teams to actually play for something. And so you will get those young player flashes. You will get maybe some player development ramping up quicker than usual because of this. So I think that there could be some inadvertent benefits to the in-season tournament.
Right.
Yeah,
Hey man, we'll just have to see how it goes.
I agree.
Yeah. Hey, if it does work out, if players are playing competitively, if teams are actually trying, then hey man, I'm
Shout out
Silver.
Adam
I'm
Silver.
completely wrong. I'm completely wrong. I was wrong about this whole idea. And hey man, I'm gonna have to give you your props, but we just have to see.
I do like a commissioner who's willing to try to make changes to get the best product out there to the fans. So
Yeah, man.
what?
And I will say this. I will say this. Like I've had my beef with Adam Silver over these past few years, especially recently. But I will say
Explain.
this about Silver himself. Yeah, the man he tries new things. He tries more like creative ideas, whether they work or not, to make the product, the NBA product better. So I'll give him that. He
Yeah,
actively tries to make his league a more entertaining product,
for sure,
which
for sure.
for some other commissioners in other sports leagues in America, that's not really the case. So
The only thing he's got to work on is that All-Star game now. I'm
I don't
saying
know,
go back
but
to East versus West.
I don't think you can fix the All Star game at this point. Just a
Nah,
matter
the
of
All-Star
players
game is what
trying.
it is. You'll get one amazing game every 3 years, and then the other two will be duds.
Yeah,
That's kind of
at
how it
this
is.
point, it is what it is. Should we move on to NFL?
Yeah,
NFL
let's move on.
news? Yes, sir. So we're gonna start off with news coming out of the Indianapolis Colts. Big news, matter of fact, and that is rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson being confirmed as the starting quarterback for this upcoming season, replacing Gardner Minshew as the initial starter heading into this preseason. Of course, he started during their first preseason game against the Chicago Bears last week. In my opinion, he didn't do that bad, except that one viral pick that went. He was going crazy on social
The
media,
step back.
but yeah, the step back. He tried to make a play, but it didn't work out. Hey man, I don't really blame him for that, but other people say that's completely on him, to each his own. But
What do you think? What do you think? You obviously have him in fantasy. Team Elango did draft him, so I'm very curious as the GM. What do you think about Anthony Richardson getting the start?
yes, I did draft him in fantasy. He is currently my third quarterback behind Geno Smith and Jalen Hurts. So
Jalen
yeah,
Hurts and
he.
Geno Smith. Get the order correct.
Oh yeah, Jalen Hurts, and Geno Smith. My
There you
fault.
go.
That's my
Much better.
fault. Yeah, he's kind of a project guy for me. It's a long term move, but as for real life, the actual decision, I'm really happy about it. Um, you know, I'm a huge believer in rookie quarterbacks getting as many reps as possible to improve their game, to hone their skills, to learn on the fly. And for Richardson, it's no different from here. He's a raw prospect. Some people say about him. Um, Florida, he ain't have the greatest counting stats. He didn't have the greatest tape from the eye test, but for me, he has a lot of intangibles and a lot of athletic ability as a quarterback to become a very good starter in this league.
No, I think you hit it on the head where you said he is a raw prospect, and because of that, you're gonna get a lot of those growing pains. You're gonna get games where the offense doesn't look good at all, where there's multiple interceptions. But to me, the one vital thing is that he can't lose his confidence. He can't lose his
Mm-mm.
confidence because he's a flashy player, and flashy players are the best when they have their confidence. So he's got to understand that this is just a growing season. That the Colts really do not have any expectations. They're probably supposed to be last place or third place in their division, which is a much weaker division. So he's just got to take every moment, try to reflect, try to learn, watch the film. And this year isn't his year, but maybe it's year 2, maybe it's year 3 where you really start to see those progressions and improvements.
And that's completely fine.
Yeah.
I would much rather have my rookie quarterback who I spent big capital on, a high draft pick on, struggling during his rookie year and improving down the line than just having him sit for the majority of, if not an entire season, behind some veteran quarterback, which most of the time with these scenarios, it's mediocre.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you think back to last year, and the only starting quarterback was Brock Purdy, or the only quarterback who got playing time was Brock Purdy, and that was because of injury. And then this year, you're going to have Bryce Young starting. You're going to have CJ Stroud starting. You're going to have Anthony Richardson starting, obviously. And don't call me crazy for this, because I am a fan of their team. But Stetson Bennett, depending on how the season goes, might get some burn towards the end of the year.
I'm expecting him to have burn. I'm
I think so.
expecting him to.
I think so.
Yeah.
Also, Will Levis might, depending on what happens with the Titans.
Mm-hmm. And as you were saying with these veteran quarterbacks in this scenario, usually for the majority of these scenarios, the majority of the time, they don't work out. And I can go down the line. The Steelers, they started Mitchell Trubisky ahead of Kenny Pickett.
Yes.
Midseason, they benched Trubisky for Pickett. When Lamar was a rookie, Joe Flacco was the starter. In November, he got benched for Jackson, and they made the playoffs with him as a starting quarterback. Josh Allen, when he was a rookie, Nathan Peterman was the starting quarterback week 1. He got benched in a half against the Baltimore Ravens in a blowout, and Josh Allen started the rest of the season. And last example, with Deshaun Watson back in 2017 when he was a rookie, he was benched. He wasn't even the starting quarterback this season. Can you guess who was the starting quarterback for the? No, it wasn't. Who was the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans week 1 in 2017? Do you know, Matt? Do you know?
Can you give me a hint? What does his last name start with?
An S.
Savage.
Tom Savage.
Oh,
Tom Savage. But and he got benched in the first half. After the first half, and Deshaun Watson started every single game he played in before his ACL tear that year, and he was great. He was phenomenal.
I can't. I think it was Tyrod Taylor. He was starting over Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield's early Cleveland Brown days.
Yeah, and he got benched. Well, I think he got injured. He got injured. My apologies.
Oh, against the Jets?
He got injured. Yeah, he got out. Yeah, he got subbed out the game. And Baker Mayfield, he played great that game.
He did play great.
Quarterback throughout the rest of his rookie year. And again, Tyrod Taylor with Justin Herbert. I know that he got injured. The doctor that punctured his lung. He was out week 1. Well, I think he was week 2 against the Chiefs. Yeah, he was week 2 against the Chiefs. Justin Herbert, he played a very good game, and he was the starter for the rest of the season from there on out.
Good decision too. This is very off topic, but you mentioned Kenny Pickett and the Steelers. I have a hot take for next year, and that is that the Steelers will be a playoff team. They went
I'm not.
7-2 in their last 9 games once TJ Watt got healthy. They're going to win games just based off of their coaching. I'm expecting a big, big second-year jump from Kenny Pickett. Partly why Team Kishinevsky drafted him in our league. And so I think the Steelers are making that wild card. I really do. I know that
How many
division is
wins?
tough. Huh?
How many
How many
wins?
wins? 9. 9 to 10. Because they're going to get like 7 off coaching alone. They finished last in their division last year. So they're also playing the last place teams in other divisions because that's how NFL schedules are made. So that's an enticing factor. And then while their division is tough, I still think that they got a good shot.
I don't know.
That
I
defense is
don't
elite.
know.
That defense is
I'm
elite.
not,
And that
bro.
offense will be better.
I
There's
don't
no
know,
Mitch
man.
Trubisky starting the season where you're going to lose a ton of games. There's no TJ Watt injury. This is assuming health. So there's no TJ Watt injury where you're losing all these close games. And last year, once he came back, they went 7-2.
I really don't know. First of all, the offense with Matt Canada as their offensive coordinator, I'm still not
It's
that
fine.
high
It's
on.
it's good enough.
Still
It's
not
good
high
enough.
on. Bro,
Kenny
Matt
Pickett
Canada
wanted him
is the
back, and
bro.
Mike Tomlin wanted him back. That's all I need to know.
Oh, I'm
That's all I
sorry,
need.
Mike.
It's serviceable. It's serviceable.
Bro, Matt Canada runs probably the worst offense in the entire league by far. It's such a vanilla offense. Like you can see how they line up during every snap, almost every snap, game by game. You can tell whether they run or pass. That's how
Yeah.
predictable in vanilla his offense is. So I'm not even with their skill position players on that side of the ball with George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Najee Harris. I'm not high on the offense to do well that year, to do well this year. I'm
Don't
not that
respect.
high.
Don't disrespect Kenny Kittens.
No, okay. And my next point, even then, if the Steelers even get like what 8-9 wins, which is almost certainly a given because Mike Tomlin,
Okay.
he got that
Yes.
voodoo magic. He's an elite head coach, and we've known this for ever since he's been the head coach for like the past 15,
Top 5
10,
head
15
coach
years.
without getting into it.
Yeah, and so when you look at the AFC right now, when you look at the AFC, you see all these teams:
There
the
are
Bills, the Jets, the Dolphins,
right.
the
The entire
Ravens,
AFC North.
Browns, Bengals, the Jags, the Chargers, the
Broncos.
Chiefs, possibly the Broncos. All those teams I mentioned, they they clearly have more talent than the Steelers. Possibly better coaching for
That they
some of
don't
those
got
teams I
culture or
mentioned.
coaching. They don't got culture or coaching. Most of those teams, if not all of those teams, have worse defenses. And while they may have better offenses, Mike Tomlin has shown that he can win if he has a defense. And this year,
Yeah. I don't.
there was plenty of talent in the league. This year, sure you might not have had the Jets. Sure you might not have had the Jets, but you still had the Raiders who were competitive this season ish. But you still had teams like you still had a very competent NFC North. You still had the Jacksonville Jaguars winning that division. And by the way, that division I don't think will have any other teams in the wild card position.
No, absolutely
Um,
not. No.
right. And so with TJ Watt injury and with Mitchell Trubisky starting the year, I think it was 0-3. Um, or it might have been 1-3. It might have been 1-3 or 0-3. Even with that, they barely missed out on the wild card game. I think it was like end of the season, last week of the season decided it. So even with
Mhm.
all of those mishaps, even with all of those close calls, they still barely missed the playoffs. And I think that this season, you obviously don't have a rookie quarterback. You have a guy with a lot more experience in Kenny Pickett, who I like I said, I'm expecting a bigger jump heading into second year. You obviously have Mike Tomlin. You obviously have a healthy defense now. I like where they're going, and I really do like their receiving options. Shout out George Pickens.
More talented than Justin Jefferson by far. That is a
Shout out
complete
Ryan
lie.
Clark. Shout out Ryan
I
Clark.
do not. Yeah, that was from Ryan Clark, not from me. I don't agree with what Ryan Clark said. All love for Ryan Clark, though. I really like him
I
and the
do like him as
podcast,
well.
Pivot Podcast. That's great.
All right, we want to get into our list, or is there any more news?
Other news: Dalvin Cook and Zeke. Yeah, it's been a long way coming, but they both signed to their new teams. Dalvin Cook, the New York Jets. and Ezekiel Elliott to the New England Patriots on like
I
1 year
I
deals.
love this from a
Hopefully.
fantasy perspective, personally. Personally, I saw Danny's team as quite a competitor, but with him having Ramondre Stevenson, Zeke is going to steal a lot of those goal line touches. Zeke, although he is kind of towards the end of his career, although he may be a little washed, he's still one of the more elite running backs when it comes to goal line situations. So I expect them to use him a lot in that goal line area, similar to how the Cowboys used him. And then for Dalvin Cook and the Jets, I think that that's actually a really good signing. I think that with Brees Hall, considering how young he is, you don't want to just throw him right back into the fire. You kind of want to let him ease into the workload because being an NFL running back, you're going to get a lot of hits. And coming off a very serious leg injury, I wouldn't want my cornerstone, very enticing young offensive player who could potentially be a star one day to like just be injured right away again. So to have a guy like Dalvin Cook, who I think for his career has averaged over 4 yards a carry, or I think he's
Hmm.
never averaged less than 4 yards a carry in an NFL season. I think that's huge for them to pick him up.
Hey man, about Zeke, you was talking about him being elite on the goal line, but his best
Pass blocking
trait
too.
probably, yeah, pass block. I was about to say
Nice.
him being elite in the chip game with those pass scenarios. You know, him and Paul being such a well balanced duo during the time in Dallas, that was largely due to one Zeke being, the more of the power back, of course, compared to Pollard being the speedster, and also Zeke being such a good blocker in the passing game, him being such a good blocker, being a chip guy, getting that extra protection for Dak to be able to get those a little bit more time in the pocket, a little bit more time to see out his reads, see how the field's looking, and deliver an open strike to the wide receiver. And so
Yeah.
I think that for a guy like Mac Jones, especially with his rushing ability, his ability to move out the pocket, which we all know he's not good at all. Like if not, he's not good at like at it
He's
really
not a
at
mobile
all.
QB.
No, he's not. He's probably one of the worst QBs at trying to play make for himself outside the pocket in the entire league. So for a guy like you bring a guy like Zeke in to their offense, you're gonna get some veteran leadership and a guy that knows how to protect the quarterback. And so for the Patriots, it's a good deal. And as
Yeah.
for the Dalvin Cook signing, him and Brees Hall, when Brees Hall is going to be healthy, I'm pretty sure he's going to be healthy during, well, no, when he comes back, I
I
don't think
think
he's
they
going to
said
be
he's
healthy
going to
week
start
one.
the season, but they're going to ease his workload.
Okay. And
I think
so
that's what
bringing
they
a guy
said.
like, yeah, so you're bringing a guy like Dalvin Cook to balance his workload out, Brees Hall's, to ease him back from that injury he had last year. And him, uh, Cook and Hall already being on a run first offense with Aaron Rodgers, with Garrett Wilson, it just adds another dynamic to their already talented offense
Hmm.
on paper.
And their enticing guard, I think it's Mekhi Beckham or I can't remember his name. I'm not great with
Mackay
his name.
Becton. Mackay
Becton.
Becton.
He's coming back from injury, but I'm actually really excited to see like when they have those two running back units out, like when they do have Cook and Hall on the field at the same time. Because I think that
Yeah,
you could use them
yeah.
well together.
No, I feel like we're gonna see a lot of them being split back formations, um, with that run heavy scheme. It was already the case with both Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon back in Green Bay. Of course,
Hmm.
the Jets they got Aaron Rodgers' guy Nathaniel Hackett to be, I believe, their offensive coordinator. So we're gonna see a lot of that this season. And hey, man, that could set off some fireworks.
That could set off some fireworks. I'm excited. I do want to say one thing about the Jets stuff. Obviously, Sean Payton said some stuff about Nathaniel Hackett, and some Jets players got in their feels about it. Am I correct? Am I correct?
Yeah,
Here's what I have to say. Here's what I have to say. The Jets players, sure. Sean Payton definitely broke a code of ethics that normal coaches don't break, and they shouldn't do that. But was anything that Sean Payton said incorrect?
no, the problem was that he spilled it all.
He's a head coach.
He's a head coach and he
Yeah.
spilled it. he spilled all that, all that stuff out to the media.
Yeah.
So
That's the problem. I don't think anything he said was wrong. It's just like an unwritten rule. It's like the unspoken truth.
yeah, you can't do that. Like you can't shit on other coaches in that position. So
Yeah. But if there was a
hey,
person to do it,
yeah,
he did do it on the right guy. Because that was an atrocious job we saw last year.
no, like Nathaniel Hackett is by far one of the worst coaches that the NFL has ever seen.
By the way,
And
I have some sources, and I trust these sources, that have confirmed that Russell Wilson did have a private office last season. And those sources have also confirmed that that office has now been turned into Sean Payton's office. So Sean Payton had to let him know who was daddy.
where'd you get that information from? Who's your source?
My source is I like to keep my sources private, but my barber cuts up a person who works at the Broncos facility. So it's a pretty reputable source.
Okay, hey, shout out Matt's Barber.
Hey, shout out Matt's barber. Although I might not be going to him on Tuesday, but we won't talk about that.
Okay,
We won't talk about that.
all right.
But without further ado, let's get into our list.
Yes, 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 yes. Main segment for today. Top 10 running backs in the National Football League.
I don't want
Let's
to.
get
I'm doing like a quick flow, so you can see I did my work off air.
it.
But
You got it on paper. I got it on my phone. Old school, new school, don't matter. We
don't
both got
matter.
our top 10 list. And
You
we're
want
both
to
gonna
start
have a
with
little
10, or
bit
you
of
want me to
debate.
go first?
I can go first.
My number 10, also a player on Team Kishinevsky for this upcoming fantasy season, Travis Etienne. Um, as you'll see with my list, I really do rate guys who are versatile, where they can be both effective in the running and the passing game. I know that Travis Etienne missed his first season in the NFL, and he's kind of struggled with some injury stuff. But as you will also see with my list, I didn't really factor in injuries in this. I kind of went off talent, and to me, he's a very good player. I would also say he's an underrated pass blocker, but just everything he does when he's on the field and when he's in the mix, he seems to be very good. So I wanted to put him on my list that time. Great. Great
Yeah.
analysis, Dibo. Great reaction.
Oh no. Oh, my fault. I had a bit of an audio issue. Yeah, I
Do
mean, no, I don't disagree with your positioning with ETN on this list. I
yeah.
really like him as well too. Of course, his rookie year, he had the season-ending injury. Got drafted in the first round, I believe, alongside Trevor Lawrence, his
Mm-hmm,
college teammate at Clemson.
mm-hmm.
A lot of people didn't like the move. Of course, that was Urban Meyer's guy. He got him in the first round there, and so for him to bounce back and become immediately one of the best running backs in the entire league in a full year, it's a testament to how good he is as a player and as a running back in this league. So, hey, I don't mind him being there on your list.
Yeah. Who's your 10?
My 10, Kenneth Walker.
He was on my short list. He was on my short list.
Yeah. For the 10 spot, I had to decide between both Walker and ETN, but I feel like with Kenneth Walker, in my opinion, he just has a little bit more explosiveness coming out the backfield and getting into that second level. Um, his weakness right now for me is
Goal
that
line.
he's so what?
Is it the goal line work?
No, it's with like him always going for the home run play, him not taking like the good gains, not taking the 6-7 yard gains, instead of like actually hitting the hole, he likes to go on the outside and try to beat the rest of the defense to get that big play down the field. But that's what I need to see from him uh, in his second year starting. But as of right now, he's a top 10 back for me for sure.
No, I got no problems with that. I got no problems with that. What he did behind a very young Seahawks offensive line as a rookie was very impressive. So I understand that pick. Um, moving on, my 9, and this will be interesting to see your reaction, is Austin Eckler.
Why? Why is he still a top 10 running back in
To
your eye?
me, it's part of that versatility with the running and the passing game. But to me, you win the game in the red zone, right? We've seen a lot of teams who should be producing more wins than they do, and they can't because they're settling for field goals instead of touchdowns. And Austin Eckler's he might be a fantasy merchant, but he's also a touchdown merchant. And I think he had multiple games last year where he had a hat trick of touchdowns. I mean, whether it's passing or running, he seems to always get the ball when it is time to score in the red zone. And so I think while he might not be a great running back when it comes to that 1st and 10 or when you're on the 3rd and 3 and you're trying to pick up that first down running the ball, I don't necessarily think he's great in that situation. I do think his red zone production has to be valued.
I don't know, man. But compared to the other guys on this list, I feel like their red zone production is probably similar or even better than Austin Eckler. And at the fact that all these guys I have above Eckler, they're all way better runners than him.
His vision is not great. I can admit that. But I would say his red zone, I would disagree. I think the reason why we look at Austin Eckler specifically in our group chat as a fantasy merchant is because that man is getting at least he's a guarantee for a minimum of 6 points a game. It feels like more than that, probably more than that, but it just feels like he's a guarantee to make his way into the end zone at least once a game.
No, I don't know because, like you said, he has problems with trying to hit the hole. One, because of his vision. Two, he's a pretty like small back, only listed at 5'10".
Mm-hmm.
So that's hard for him, and it shows statistically, of course. He's one of the worst like running backs to hit the tackles. He hit the middle of the tackles in the entire league. And during that playoff game versus the Jaguars last year, it showed. Why, Matt? Ask me this question: Why did the Chargers?
Joe Lombardi. Enough said.
Well, okay, that's one of the reasons. But what was also one of the reasons why the Chargers blew that lead against the Jaguars?
Well, they could run the ball to kill time. I do agree. I do agree. But what I would say is, while what he makes or what he lacks in the running game, I believe he makes up for in the receiving game. Because I would argue that Austin Eckler has top 5 to top 3 upside when it comes to receiving backs. I think you have guys like McCaffrey, Barkley, maybe Kamara, although he's kind of taken a hit. He's had some severe regression since Drew Brees left. But those guys are like elite and Austin Eckler. And Tony
Yeah,
Pollard maybe like
yeah. Don't forget about Tony Pollard. I was
yeah,
about to
Tony
say.
Pollard. He'll be on my list shortly as well. But those are like the elite guys when it comes to receiving. So if I can have a guy where I have a quarterback like Justin Hurts who in a league that's now pass first, and I have a running back who's a top 5 receiving option when in that position, I think I can be okay with the running deficiencies.
I'm not okay with that, and because of that, the Chargers, they're consistently one of the weaker rushing teams in the entire league. That's because of Eckler's limited ability as a rusher, as a pure rusher.
This is I will say though that this is like his like make or break year with the Kellen Moore offense. Because a lot of his receiving stuff has been checkdowns. And as a result, like I think previously he was averaging like 10 yards a reception or something close to that. And now he's averaging like closer to like 5 or 6 yards a reception. So like a lot of it was checkdowns instead of down the field. And I would really like to see him go more towards down the field. So hopefully Kellen Moore can integrate that within the Chargers offense.
Yeah, like I don't know. To me, Eckler is just not a pure lead back. He's not 3 down back consistently. And like I said before, the Chargers' lack of a running game these past few years has been a big reason why. Because of Eckler's lack of ability as a pure rusher.
Was he 1,000-yard runner last year?
No, he wasn't.
Definitely 1,000 yard. He might have been closer to
He's actually
2,000 yards
never
from
been.
scrimmage though.
He's actually never been an over 1,000-yard rusher in his entire career.
That red zone production, and that receiving, because it's so unique at a position like this with the receiving, and it's so vital when you have a quarterback like Justin Herbert. I think, especially when you have guys like Keenan Allen who consistently misses time, when you have guys like Mike Williams who consistently misses time, to have a guy in your backfield who can be honestly your best receiving option when those two are out is vital. and huge. So I felt like he had to make my list. I know you don't have him on your list, clearly.
No, he didn't make my. No, actually, he made the end of the honorable mentions.
Fair enough.
He made the end of
Who's
it.
your 9?
Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh, you have him high. He was towards my end of honorable mention.
Towards your bro, I got high praise for Ramondre, man.
I like Ramondre's game a lot. I just don't know if it's top 10 though.
In my opinion, it is top 10 because he's always he's such a great runner with the football, with both power and with his elusiveness. He's shown good ability or even great ability to catch out the backfield. With the Patriots offense last year, he was honestly their best receiving option at some point in the season. And of course, with the Patriots, they have one of the worst receiving cores in the entire league. They're still going to have one of the worst receiving cores in the entire league this season too, as well. And so, Ramondre Stevenson, for them to hang on with a guy that can, you can, you can consistently give him 20 rushes a game while also making him one of your top receiving options on a game by game basis is very vital in this league. So that's why he's high on my list.
That's fair. He's one of the more pure runners in the league, I'd say. Uh, Especially like from a broken tackles perspective, like it's hard to bring that dude down. Um, but I felt like it was a lot of Damian Harris getting those goal line touches. And now it's going to be Zeke. So that dude is getting deprived of the end zone.
I mean, it doesn't matter when. Of course, like you might have a little bias towards fantasy in that perspective, which, to your opinion, okay. But at the same time, when it comes to being a 3-down back in this league, I think Stevenson is one of the best QBs, one of the best running backs to do it in this position.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. But I personally like the the dual threat of Eckler more. I will admit he's a much better runner than Eckler. But on the flip side, I would argue Eckler is a much better receiving option.
Okay,
All right.
moving on.
Moving on. My
Matt,
number 8 is Tony Pollard.
okay.
Um, I mean, I'll get into it, I guess. I am a little scared though for him coming off this injury.
Yeah,
Um,
me as well. Me
but,
as well.
but last year was the first year that they really made him the RB1, and we saw what he could do. He had great production. I was already talking about how I value the dual threat. He was able to do it as a runner. He was able to do it as a receiving option. His explosiveness, his speed is almost unreal, and the Cowboys offense really took off once they put him in for Zeke. And I think that that's part of why I had him making my top 10 was just because simply changing him for Zeke made this team go from like to a really intriguing team, to one of the best teams in the NFC, to a top 3 team in the NFC. So that's why I had to put him in at 8.
All right. With my number 8 spot, I'm gonna have to agree with you on this one. I got Pollard in there as well.
Nice, nice, nice. Anything you want to add or no?
No, not really. Other than like as you said before, once he got that starting running back spot over Zeke, yeah, he just took off with it and kept running. I really like his ability to catch out the backfield and his explosiveness as a runner.
Unreal.
He's one of the most explosive backs in this entire league when he's healthy. And like you said, I hope that injury that doesn't really affect him as much, especially with him being on my fantasy team. But I think with the Cowboys O line and with their other weapons like CeeDee Lamb, I think Paul's going to be fine.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Since we both have him at 8, let's move on to 7, where I have Aaron Jones. Um, Another guy who's very talented. Another guy who kind of has to compete with competition, although I don't think he necessarily should. I think he's a lot better than AJ Dillon, and I really hope now that it is Jordan Love as the starting quarterback, I really hope that they just kind of feed Aaron Jones to help him out. But I've been hearing reports that that's not going to happen.
Damn. Okay. for me, say my 7, and my 7 is Aaron Jones. Same as you.
Debo, I'm loving this right now. I'm loving. Great minds are thinking alike at the moment.
We had the same thing again, once again, 2 in a row. And yeah, man, like you said, I really like Aaron Jones as a running back. I really feel like he's a bit underappreciated when it comes to the other great backs in this league. I really feel like his name doesn't really get mentioned amongst the Josh Jacobs, the Jonathan Taylors, the Saquons, the Henrys, other running backs like that, which is kind of a damn shame because he's consistently been an elite running back since he's been in the league. And the Packers have always had a consistent running game, one of the most elite running games in the league these past few years. It's because of Aaron Jones. So that's why he's here on my list.
No, for sure. For sure. My number 6, I feel like I have him low. I do feel, when I made this list, I felt like I have him low, but I personally like the 5 names above him, and that's the only reason he's this low. But my number 6 is Jonathan Taylor.
Damn.
I know, it's low. Jonathan Taylor, I think he was close to 2,000 yards 2 seasons ago, and then last year he was on pace for 1,500, if he didn't get hurt. But the reason I just have him so low is like I said, I just like my other 5 backs better, and that's really it at the end of the day. Like it's not a lot that you could say bad about Jonathan Taylor because he is one of the elites when it comes to this position. But I personally prefer my 5. I think you have my number 5 at your 6 if I had to guess.
Yeah, it might be. And for my 6, I'm going with Josh Jacobs.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. Why you got Josh Jacobs at 6?
Well, I got Josh Jacobs at 6.
Uh-huh.
You know, Jacobs, he had a career year last year. I think he had the rushing title, if I'm correct,
I believe so.
in a contract year, which, by the way, Raiders, hey, man, for them to not pay him is kind of a bad deal from their perspective. But as I digress, when it comes to these next 5 running backs on my list, I just feel like as pure runners, or for the majority of them, as like pure runners, I think they're just better than them.
No, no.
Than Josh.
Pure running, I have to disagree. I think that receiving wise is where he completely lacks. But I think based off now, this may be with a grain of salt because it was a contract year. But pure running, he looked like one of the best backs last year. Pure running, he was breaking tackles, he was stiff arming people. Like you said, he won the rushing title. Like I think pure running wise, that is his game. That's the most intriguing part of his game. That's the best part of his game. I think where he needs to improve is that receiving option, is that pass blocking. But for me, I really do like his running ability. That's why I had him higher. Because I felt like, oh, it's a running back, I gotta rate him high because I rate his pure running highly.
Yeah, that is very true. Josh Jacobs is he's not the best pass blocker, as you mentioned, which I agree with. But, man, for me, when it comes to breaking off a tackle, getting to that second level, big gains consistently on a game-to-game basis, I just think, like I said before, the other 5 running backs I have on here are just better than Josh Jacobs. And I've done it for a long time.
Because last year was like Josh Jacobs' first year as like a top 5 running back, I felt like.
Yeah, so.
But speaking of 5, this is who I thought you were going to have at your 6. My number 5 is Saquon Barkley. I thought his versatility, like I said, with this dual option, I think him being such a receiving and running threat is huge. I think the way that New York uses him and him basically being that offensive system and the system being built around him is so critical. The only reason I had him at 5 was because he was taken. Wasn't he a second overall pick?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we have never seen a second overall pick season from him, right?
Wait, what do you mean by that, though?
Like, if you're taking if you're using your second overall pick on a running back, I'm expecting like Adrian Peterson numbers. And not to say Saquon's had bad career by any standards, but I don't think he's had that spectacular offensive player of the year season that you would have hoped if you're a Giants fan when you first drafted him.
Yeah, I agree with you as well, and I don't know. It's kind of a his injury history is obviously a huge sign, of course. After his rookie year, it was a bit up and down. He had the ACL injury, if I'm correct, back in 2020, which
I think so.
that sidelined him throughout that year. But last year, coming back from poor production these past few seasons in a new offense led by Brian Daboll, him being the vocal point of that Giants offense just speaks to how great he is as a runner and how much of a game changer he is.
100%. 100%. I agree. I'm hoping he has a great year because he is on one of our fantasy teams, specifically mine. So I would love for him to have a great year, similar to last year, because last year I think was arguably his best year of his career.
It was his best year, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, healthiest year too. But who's at your number 5?
For my number 5, I'm gonna have to go with Jonathan Taylor as my number
Okay,
5.
okay, very solid, very solid. You want to talk about him, or should I just move on to my 4?
No. Well, first of all, Jim Irsay,
Oh yeah,
horrible person. The way he treated that scenario was completely terrible. As an owner, you never do that. I just think him as a man, like in general, is just he's not a good person. He's not a good owner, and I feel
no, he's
like
not.
the way he handled an organization in general, the way they handled that whole his contract situation with Jonathan Taylor, it was completely bad on their part. And I get that not paying for running backs, it's the new norm. It's how the modern NFL goes. But for a guy like Jonathan Taylor to be the main piece in your offense, especially in an offense where you have a rookie quarterback coming
Yep,
into the mix, and you're
yep,
trying to give him as much help as possible. So for like a rebuilding team with a high profile guy like Anthony Richardson, wouldn't you give him as much help as he needs with Jonathan
hmm
Taylor?
yeah, yeah, and especially because you are going to be running the ball a lot. And I don't know about you, Debo, but if I was a head coach, I would much rather hand the ball to Jonathan Taylor than Naheem Hines. But that's just me. I don't know.
Like Naheem Hines, well, he got traded to the Bills, but still Naheem Hines, Zach Moss, guys like
Zach
that.
Moss, thank you.
Uh,
Zach Moss, thank you. Um, but my number four, I mentioned how much I loved his pure running ability. My number 4 was Josh Jacobs. I felt like for a pure runner and on a running back list, he just had to be a little higher because I think he's really one of the best runners in the league. He just has to work on that receiving game
and pass blocking.
and pass blocking. Thank you.
Well, like there's no reason for a guy to be like his height and size to be a mediocre pass blocker.
No, pass blocking is all about effort. It's vision and effort, vision, communication, and effort. So
Yeah,
it's
for
that
sure.
three things. Um, who's that? Your number 4?
My number 4, for my number 4, I picked Saquon.
Okay, so we have like all those players in the same range. We have all those players in the same range. Saquon, Josh Jacobs, and uh, Jonathan Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll move on to the top 3. I'll move on to the top 3. My number 3 was Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. Wow, Derrick Henry at 3.
Derrick Henry. Hold on, hold on. What was the trade yesterday that went down in it was you, it was Christian McCaffrey. You traded Christian McCaffrey. What did you get in return?
Oh, I traded Christian McCaffrey for Derrick Henry and 2 future first.
You fleeced. You fleeced. Look at you, Dibo. Wow.
Yeah,
Tyler got fleeced.
I'm not doing the forfeit. I'm not doing the forfeit. Which, by the way, for our audience, in our fantasy football league, there's like a bunch of forfeits in there. But the main forfeit that everybody wants me to do if I were to get last place, which I won't, so I gotta do a comedy show, which
Oh, I'd heckle the fuck out of you.
I'm not gonna do it, bro. They said they're gonna throw tomatoes at me.
What if you're like a young Dave Chappelle on the mic?
Nah, that's highly unlikely. That's very unlikely.
It sounds likely, but it's not impossible.
You know, yeah.
um, but the reason I had Derrick Henry is you'll see my obviously you could probably guess who my 1 and 2 are, just based off of this. But one, I felt like Derrick Henry had a bit of a disappointing year last year. Just from that like his standard perspective. I feel like he was less efficient just on yards per play and in the red zone. Obviously, his injuries have gone up the last couple of years. And the number two, because obviously I think number one will be a consensus pick, but him in the number two, I told you how much I value that dual option. And at the end of the day, Derrick Henry, while he's a magnificent runner and he's damn near impossible to tackle. I think the other dude just does a lot more in the receiving game. A lot more in the receiving game.
Damn.
That's so frustrating to me because there's no reason that Derrick Henry like can't catch a screen pass, bro.
But
Like Derrick Henry with the full head of steam with offensive linemen running towards you should be a defensive nightmare, and they never run it.
I don't know, man. Like with what the Titans have been doing on offense, that side of the ball these past few years, it was just like, hey, we're gonna give Derrick Henry 25, even 30 carries a game. We're just gonna write off that. We're just gonna base our offense off this behemoth of a man, just demolishing D lines, linebackers, whole defenses, and we're gonna win games off that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I do understand. In your case with Henry being more of a capable receiving back, which I believe so as well. You don't gotta run all these like wheel routes, all these Texas routes. All you gotta do is catch like a swing pass. All you gotta do is catch like a screen
Exactly.
once in a while.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I don't know how to. I don't know why the
And
Lions don't utilize
and
that.
part of why I also put him at 3 was because the top two dudes I've seen them be the one man show similar to Derrick Henry. Now Derrick Henry has probably been a better one man show than them, but I still think that they've showed the ability to be a one man show when needed. But they also have higher upside because they can be used in that passing game.
Mm-hmm. It's very true.
Mm-hmm. I mean, who do you have at your 3?
At
Can I
my
guess?
Yeah, you can guess.
Is that man from Colorado?
Yes, sir.
It
Valor
is.
Christian High
I
School
had a feeling.
alumni, Christian McCaffrey. Yeah,
I
he's
had
at
a
my
feeling.
3. He's at my 3. I didn't put him at my 2, even at my number 1 because of his injury history these past few
Mm-hmm.
seasons. But when he's absolutely healthy, when he's at his complete best, he is one of the most dynamic running backs, overall offensive weapons in this entire league. And
Yeah.
last year, him being traded to the 49ers, it obviously showed.
No, 100%. He's at my number 2, so I mean, like it's not far off. Um, like I said at the beginning of this list, I kind of didn't. I kind of was just going off talent more than injuries, especially because I felt like we've seen Derrick Henry accumulate more injuries than Christian McCaffrey as of late, recently. So that's why I put him ahead of Derrick Henry, but he's on my 2.
So you're saying? I mean, I don't know. It's Christian McCaffrey. He missed like almost like 2 full seasons back to back.
I'm saying as of recently, as
Yeah,
of recently,
that's true. I understand
as
from
of
that.
recently. But there's just so many better ways to use him because I feel like with Derrick Henry, like if your team goes down by a lot, it's kind of like not he's like obsolete, but it's a lot harder to work him into the game plan. Versus if you're down, you're almost like going to Christian McCaffrey to get you out of that deficit. And to me, it's just like I feel like I can use Christian McCaffrey in all facets of the game, whereas Derrick Henry, it's strictly running downs. Christian McCaffrey can be that 3 down back.
Yeah, and I don't blame him for having that opinion at all. He's the best receiving back in the league right now.
Yep,
And
100%.
with the 49ers offense, the way they like to run things, McCaffrey became their best receiving threat
Yeah,
when he got
yeah,
traded to that team.
yeah,
And him being catching out the backfield, putting a guy like McCaffrey in that scheme alongside George Kittle, Dibo, Ayuk, guys like that, it just made their offense more dynamic. It had a whole nother element to their team. no disrespect to Elijah Mitchell, he did great when he was a starting running back, but going from Mitchell to a guy like McCaffrey,
Mhm.
with McCaffrey being such a great rusher and a receiver out the backfield, come on, man, that's a big difference right there. That's a big
It's
difference.
also huge though. You mentioned Debo Samuel and Elijah Mitchell. Those guys are huge for McCaffrey's health because it's not like he's that one man show that we saw in Carolina that's on missed those 2 seasons you were alluding to. Like now it's like, oh yeah, like Elijah Mitchell will still get his 8 to 10 touches a game. Debo Samuel will get like 5 to 7 touches out of the backfield a game. And now instead of overworking Christian McCaffrey, when Christian McCaffrey's on the field, we're getting the most fit, the most fresh version of him. So he really is playing at his best when he's on the field, which I think is an advantage to him over like a guy like Derrick Henry, where Derrick Henry, like you said, it's just they're feeding him the ball 24/7, 40 touches a game. So
Understandable. That's
yeah.
understandable.
And then who was your number two?
Derrick Henry.
And then I assume we both had Mr. Chubb at one.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. I hope, I pray Nick Chubb becomes a part of the passing game this season. I think it's finally happening.
I don't know. What do you mean in the passing game? Like just catching
Well,
like the screen passes?
no, not necessarily because I mean the past couple of years, like it's been Nick Chubb mainly just used as the primary running back, and then it would be like Kareem Hunt inserted for passing downs or Kareem Hunt inserted for passing situations. But I might like I'm just hoping like Nick Chubb gets those stays in for the third downs, and they don't look for like the Ernest Johnson when it's a third down now, or if it's an obvious passing down.
Yeah. I mean, with Nick Chubb, I feel like we've seen since his rookie year immediately become one of the elite backs in this entire league. And with the other guys in both of our top fives, McCaffrey, Henry, Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, those guys like that, I think with what Nick Chubb has above the other guys I mentioned is the durability, is the availability. And with Nick Chubb, throughout his entire career, he's always been able to stay healthy for a full season every single year. I mean,
Yeah.
I get that he misses a couple games here and there,
Hmm.
which is kind of given with the running back position. Okay, I understand, but at the same time, he is consistently producing at an elite level for at worst 13, 14 games every single year. And I feel like that's really important.
100%. 100%. And for a running back list, I do think that he is the best runner in the league.
The
I
best
do.
runner,
Hmm.
I'm gonna give it to Henry.
That's fair. I
Let me
mean, I can't even hate that because it's. I would argue it's a 1A, 1B, even if I would put Chubb at the 1A, but I would say it's a 1A, 1B.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I think Henry, with his injuries, unfortunately, his speed is not really there anymore like it was back earlier in his career. So I think
mhm.
Chubb has that to his advantage there. But with him being such a powerful runner, Derrick Henry, we can't ignore that. We just can't forget about that.
Yeah. No, I agree. Debo, I want to ask you something.
Hmm.
Are the Seahawks your second favorite team? Are like they like your second, like unofficial second team?
Are they my second favorite team?
You be showing a lot of love to the Seahawks on these podcasts.
Low
Rightfully
key,
so, though. I have to say.
it's between Seattle and the Panthers, to be honest.
The Panthers. Interesting. You want Bryce Young?
Nah, like Cam Newton back in the day. That's probably like my favorite player.
MVP Cam Newton was like one of the funnest times to be alive.
Beautiful moment, dabbing every single game. Superman celebration, bro. Him carrying the entire offense, like him and Greg Olsen, that entire he was incredible. He was incredible,
That man had Ted Ginn Jr. looking elite.
bro. Philly Brown, Jericho Cotchery, Darius Hayward Bay, and he carried that team to
Who
a
was the running back on
season.
that team?
Um,
I think.
I remember it was Jonathan Stewart, I believe.
Oh, I think it was. I think you're 100% right.
let me correct myself because I don't want to be wrong with this. But I believe it was Jonathan Stewart.
I know because the year after the Broncos won, the Broncos beat them in the Super Bowl. That's when they signed C.J. Anderson, and that was a big flop of a signing.
Okay, so yeah, it was Jonathan Stewart, and then Mike Tolbert as the fullback. It's Mike Tolbert, great player, man. I
Journeyman,
love Mike Tolbert.
journeyman.
Oh, that was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Christian McCaffrey also now has the benefit of playing behind a way like the best offensive line. Well, maybe not this season, but like last season, that offensive line was beautiful, especially when they had Trent Richardson running in motion. Like, good luck dealing with that.
So Trent Richardson?
Trent Williams. I've done that back-to-back episodes now.
I don't think I caught you the last episode with the.
I think Danny did. I think
Okay.
Danny caught me the last episode.
Yeah.
Um.
All right, wait, but why were you asking me about my second favorite team, the Seahawks?
Oh, because you got Gino on your team. You're huge on Gino. You're huge on Kenneth Walker, as we found out today. Which I mean, like I said, it's not necessarily like a bad thing. Like they're a good team. Like Seattle's a very fun team to watch as well, because they got a lot of exciting pieces and they have a good roster. And I feel like they surprised a lot of people last year, even though it shouldn't have been as much of a surprise.
I had them winning like 4 games last year. It was for sure.
I also did not have them winning a lot, but like I'm saying, like looking back on it, I feel like we were very foolish.
That's very
because
true.
the roster was great. We just didn't know Gino would be top 10. But the roster was still very good around him.
No, defensively, it was one of the worst teams in the league, and it showed throughout the regular season. It was just the fact that the offense was just so great with Gino coming in and Kenneth Walker being a great running back his rookie year. And Rashard Penny in the amount of time he was into with their
When
running.
he's healthy.
Yeah.
Which is a big if.
Massive if, but
massive if.
Yeah,
they got like their offense is very exciting. They got obviously the 3 receivers in DK, Lockett, and JSN, and now you have those 2 running backs, Penny and Walker, and then you top that with Gino. It's a pretty good offense. Plus, their offensive line is young and improving.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna come up with a video about like season preview, season predictions, and for me, the Seahawks are gonna be one of those teams where I'm very high on. I'm very, very high on that team.
Do you have them winning the division? No spoiler or no?
No.
Okay. That's good. That's good. I do want to ask something. Are you okay if I spoil the next video idea or not? If not, then I won't say.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
When we do offense, so we were thinking about drafting like NFL offenses. Like, we'll obviously have more co-hosts than just me and Dibo. That's why we didn't do it today. But we were going to draft like the perfect NFL offenses. Are we including offensive line in there?
Yeah, we have to.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I wonder what positions will go first then.
Quarterback. All the skill positions. We're gonna leave off. We're gonna leave like lineman last. Unfortunately.
I honestly would. I don't know if I'm taking a quarterback early. There's so many. Like you could because let's be real. Mahomes, if you have first pick, you're taking Mahomes. I think that's consensus, right? But after that, you have Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. Like if you don't get the first pick, like I'm not necessarily running to use my quarterback pick. Yeah. I feel like I can wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I might, but hey, that's your opinion.
Unless you have that first pick, then you have to go Mahomes. You have to go, or you could go Kelsey, because that's a giant position advantage. That's a giant position advantage.
Very true. But that's for another day. I'm actually
excited for that episode.
Yeah, that's for another day. Hopefully, we're gonna have a lot more people on here to discuss that. But with that being said, I guess we gotta wrap it up.
Lovely. Lovely. You wanna get us out of here, or you want me to do it?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Lovely.
And with that being said, thank y'all again for watching this video. We had a fun one making this today with y'all. Thank y'all for the love and support these past few months. We can't appreciate the love and support anymore, like even though we already do. But follow us on social media, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, all with the handle at Lunchroom Debates. And with that being said,
How about this?
oh,
Hold on.
oh, my fault, my fault, my
How
fault.
about this? How about this? For those of you that have listened to this part of the episode, because it's a very, very select few, DM us. And if you're interested, we'll bring you on to that NFL offenses draft.
Well, hey, man, no, screw that. We're gonna, bro. We could possibly bring you on like future episodes. Hey, the more people that the more people that would love to talk with us and debate with us on certain topics, the better.
Hey, that's all it is. That's all it's about. That's all it's about. Sports is just about talking, shooting the shit, because that's what it is. It's just used to bring us closer together. Obviously, at Lunchroom Debates, we're just trying to build a good community with one another. So, if we can bring you guys on and you guys have a positive experience and you tell people about that, the more people have positive experiences and we build that way.
Just had to get that out there.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
All right. It's taking too long. Gotta get out of here. And
Peace.
yeah. Peace out, y'all.